Welcome, everyone. We are live, and it is Thursday. Today, we're going to have a pep talk. And the pep talk is this: you've got something pesky that's bugging you, don't you? Which one of us doesn't at some point in time? Something we need an answer to. Think about that. Something we need the answer to. You might not, quote unquote, know the answer. Hmm? Think about it. You say, "Oh, I got this problem. I don't know how to solve it." You don't know how to solve it, but you know that you want it solved. So the pep talk is this, because I won't be long with you this morning. I won't be long-winded with you this morning. When you know that you want a solution, that is the way to solve it. How would the solution look to you? The solution would look like you don't have a problem anymore. That's what it is. So when you say, "Man, I don't know what to do." Right, you don't know what to do, but you do know how you want it to turn out in your favor. So if you want it to turn out in your favor, well then, that is the mental mood. If it worked out in your favor, how would you know? Well, there'd be some kind of evidence, wouldn't there? What would the evidence be? Get the evidence of it working out in your life. And the evidence of something working out in your life is you celebrating, is you being pleased, is you being at peace. Then do that. Then do that part. You don't have to fret. You spend so much time fretting. When in actuality, if you don't know what you want, you do know how you want to feel. And what happens when you know how you want to feel? The feeling will bring about the cause. Oh, cause and effect, you say? Yes. But we spend so much time trying to figure it out. That's what holds us up. That's what is so gummy and tacky and sticky. It holds us up. And believe you me, I understand that one for sure. It holds us up. So if it holds us up, here's how to please release me, let me go. I still can't believe that was a song. How do you release yourself? You take a moment to sit quietly and examine the present situation that you have found yourself in. This is something we can do right here, right now. You find yourself in a situation, a predicament, so to speak. You cannot see your way forward. You don't know how to get out. But what do you know? That you want out. So if you know that you want out or in, remember, it doesn't matter what the situation is. But you do know how you want it to turn out. If you want to work yourself into something, a new job, a new car, a new relationship, new money, new health, new peace of mind, you know that's what you want. Well, what would it be like? How would you be living your life? What would be the evidence? Because evidence is a funny thing. When you look at the evidence tells you something. It tells you about when we go to court, we talk about evidence, right? So the evidence would tell you the culprit, and the evidence would tell you why. The evidence would tell you how. So what evidence would you be experiencing that would confirm for you that you have accomplished your desired outcome? Oh, hello. Wait for it. Wait for it. Oh, good morning, my sweet boy. What evidence? So you see, when you see the evidence, right? Now you know that you accomplished this thing. So see the evidence. See the evidence of the desired outcome. Where does one see the evidence of the outcome, though? We can't see it on the outside just yet because it isn't there. But it is within. And what happens to things that are within? As within, so without. Hello. So see, as Neville Goddard would say, see the desired outcome. When you see the desired outcome, there's no need to hope, there's no need to wish, there's no need to pray, fast, and dance naked in the moonlight. But what does one do when you see the outcome? When you see the outcome that you want, you remember that, wait a minute, this desire that I feel right now, that I feel, the accomplishment of my desire, because I see the evidence of it. It makes me feel good. It makes me feel at ease. Why? Because I know that it is inevitable. I know that it must come to pass. Why? Because it is within you. And because it is within you, you celebrate the fact that, wait a minute, I just generated an idea. I was masculine. Oh, yes, I was. I generated an idea. Now, I want you to, we're going to get a little bit philosophical for the moment. Did you generate the idea, or did you get into the mood of generating the idea? Oh, you got into the mood, and that's why the idea was generated. Remember, thoughts and feelings and emotions are effects. You can see it, it's an effect. Or it's the cause. But either way, you're looking at it, right? You're looking at the evidence of it. So when you see the evidence, that's why you're the one who has to determine what the evidence is. What would prove to you that you have changed? Well, you don't feel changed yet, but what would prove to you that you did change? How would you be able to recognize that you changed? But then you'd be doing something different, right? What is that thing? Then you do that thing. You rehearse that thing in your mind's eye. Why rehearse? Because when one rehearses with the intent to do what? Perform the rehearsed part. You have a wedding rehearsal. You go to the church or wherever you're going, and you rehearse what you're going to do, what you're going to say, how you're going to walk down the aisle. You rehearse. And you're rehearsing in your mind's eye all the time. Every time you have a conversation with yourself, you're rehearsing. How many times did you have that conversation today with yourself? How many times did you rehearse? You see, every time that you rehearse, right, you solidify, you gain confidence to know that as soon as I walk out there, I'm going to do what I practice. You see, rehearsal brings comfort. Rehearsal brings peace of mind. I don't know that rehearsal brings quiet. Sorry, I couldn't help myself because he's singing, right? Anyway, rehearsal brings peace of mind. Why? Because you know your lines. You know your lines. But you don't just know your lines. You know them so that you can walk down the street and you can rehearse your lines without a problem. Now, why does that make things easier to know your lines? Because there's a confidence that emerges. And now that you know the lines because you've memorized them, now you can call upon the feeling to perform those lines. See, the actor doesn't just get up there and you don't cry or you don't go into anger. Truth, you gotta handle the truth, or stop lying to me, Hulk. People ask me, well, how do I do it? I don't wear a uniform. I'm just angry all the time. Hulk, right? You memorize your lines. Because once you memorize the lines that you want to say, once you memorize the feeling that you want to have, and you rehearse it, well then, the time comes for you to perform it. The feeling, because you know that you've rehearsed, well, you can invoke that feeling. You can bring that feeling of accomplishment to the surface every single time. And you don't have to be like, oh my God, what am I going to do with my life? I don't know. This is the pep talk for you today. You might not know exactly what you want to do, but you do know that you want to be. And if you know that you want to be, that is 100% of the battle. Because you must always know. You might not know it to name it, but you know by the way it feels. Sometimes we can't put our feelings into words, but the knowing that this is the feeling is what will bring about the cause to help you every single time. So how does one practice? And then we'll go. We practice by doing what? Step 1. What is it that you want to become? What do you want to accomplish? What is that? Take your time with it. Just take your time. What is it? Can you see it in your mind's eye? Oh, Angela, I want to become ... Whisper it to me. See? You did it. Now you know. What evidence now, this is step 2, what evidence would convey or confirm that you are? What evidence? You'd be doing something. What would you be doing? That's the evidence. The evidence would be, what would you be doing? That's the evidence. So now that you have accepted what your evidence is, because the evidence implies the fulfillment. The evidence implies that, oh my goodness, I did it. And then that evidence makes you feel how? Think about it. How does it make you feel having that evidence? Knowing that you made it, that you were successful. The evidence is always there. So now that you know the evidence and you can see it, that is what you allow yourself to know You're like, you know what? This is what would prove to me that I made it. Because if I made it, I'd be dot, dot, dot. I'd be doing something. Well, think about that. Go the other way. You know, when we think of worst case scenarios, and we say, oh my God, if I don't do this, this is going to happen to me. Oh, if I don't do that, that's going to happen to me. And we start to see the thing, the outcome, whether we want that outcome or not. The moment that you see the outcome, that's the one you've chosen until you see a different one. So good, bad, or indifferent. You see, this is what we do all day, every day. So if you watch yourself, you'll see what you're doing. I got out of the car yesterday and I locked the door on autopilot. I did. I locked the door on autopilot. Like it's so creepy because I knew I locked the door because I'm outside the car. So once I'm outside the car, I know the door is locked. Trust me on that one. So I pulled on the handle and I'm like, the door was locked. And I said, shoot, I can't even tell you when I pushed the button to lock the door. See? Why did I tell you that? Because there are things that we do on autopilot. They're not always helpful things that we do on autopilot. And that's why you gotta catch yourself. Sometimes we just do and we go through the motions and we're like, how did you get here? How did I get here? How did I end up with this, you know? And so let me do that. It's like, catch yourself because it'll show you why. The light will turn on for you. And you know how you hear all the time, well, you gotta trust the process. Well, why would you trust the process? Because every cause has its effect and every effect its cause. That's the process. So if you have determined that here's the evidence of what, if I saw this, I would know that I made it. If I experienced this, I'd know that I made it. And you begin to rehearse it over and over, over and over. Because that's what we do. We tend to fixate as humans and we talk about the same thing all the time. Sounds familiar right now. And we're creatures of habit. We make our habits. We make them. So if you know that we make them, make a new one. And your habit could possibly be describing the evidence of your success as opposed to describing the evidence of your quote unquote failures. That is what one does. So bring to mind your present situation that you're in right now, that you don't want to be in anymore. Bring it to the forefront of your mind. Oh man, I don't know if I can handle much more of this. I don't know, blah, blah, blah. You see, you've seen it, right? You can identify the problem. Yeah, but Angela, I don't know what I want the situation to be. I don't know how I want it to work out. You don't know how you want it to work out. You don't know how it's going to work out. All you know is that it is going to work out. What would be the evidence that it worked out? What would be the evidence of it working out? You'd say, whew, I'm sure glad this thing worked out in my favor. I'm sure you'd say that. Hmm? So if you know that you would say, whoo, we hot diggity dog, it worked out. And here's my proof, here's my evidence that it worked. So if you can see the evidence and you go back to the evidence and rehearsing the evidence, rehearsing what you would say, what would you say to me when you called me? What would you say? Well, put the words in your mouth what you would say. Because when you put those words in your mouth of what you would say when you were talking to me to tell me that this stuff worked out for you, if that's what you were going to tell me, then rehearse it because it implies your success. Hmm? That's what you do. And the moment that you do that, there's going to be a level of excitement. Now, why would you have that excitement? You get the excitement because you know that those things will work out for you. You don't get the excitement because you're hoping for the best, eh? You're hoping for the best. Really? That's not what will give you the feeling of, shoot, I know what I'm doing. And I know that this, see, I would know that I made it when dot 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 when this happened. And if that's gonna be the evidence, how am I gonna react? Then you rehearse the reaction. Because that's how you want to do it, and that's how you want to walk out onto the stage and do it, isn't it? That's what you would do. Oh my God, my internet is buffering this morning. Sorry, fan base. Listen, that thunder and lightning was fierce last night. Oh, oh my. So I haven't seen the aftermath. Ooh. But what would you be rehearsing? You see, I'm saying this to you so that you can look at your situation and fit the situation into the principles. That's why I tell it to you every day. Every day, all day long. And that, remember, I told you a couple of weeks back that I was sitting at my desk and I said, I just looked at the bill for my chicken and and then somebody says, well, he doesn't have chickens for brains. And I was like, and it keeps happening where I will say a word in my mind's eye and then I'll hear it on the radio. Or I'll be writing a word and I'll hear it on the radio. That's what quote unquote freaks me out. I'm like, oh, principle of correspondence is at work. Right. And so then I always jokingly say, well, where's my $1,000,000? uh, that's what I say. That's so fun. I got it on the inside because I've been thinking about it. So where is it on the outside? Because you know that every time you rehearse something on the inside, you're going to experience it on the outside. Well, don't you? And it just happens naturally. I just thought chicken, she said it. I thought keys yesterday, they said it. And like I said, I was just writing things down. I was just doing my work, my job. So the moral there is live your life and you'll have the desired experiences. You just got to go about living. Who's here with us this morning? Oh, Melly Mel. The better man. I see you both. Well, Twitter is as Twitter always is. But you know, those numbers on the replay, right? People are listening. And I know that people are also applying. Hmm? How do I know that they are applying? Because some people would say, this chick is crazy. She don't know what she's talking about. But then, when they encounter a coincidence, right? As within, so without, they correspond. When they encounter a quote unquote coincidence, I wonder who comes to mind. I do. And what do I tell you about a coincidence? A coincidence isn't anything fancy schmancy. It is you recognizing something and then seeing the evidence of it. That's all it is. Well, it got your attention, didn't it? You're like, oh my God, I was just thinking about that. So the pep talk for you this morning, my beautiful friends, is this. Pay attention to what it is you are doing and saying. Man, this man called me yesterday and he's trying to jump in the queue to be further. He's like, yeah, but, and I'm like, your signed paperwork determines your spot in the queue, which makes it fair. I get it. You're next. Somebody else calls, they're next. Right? That's all it is. But he's just arguing. And I just sat there and I said, your signed paperwork is what determines your space in the queue. I know it. That's what you said. I said, that's what I will continue to say because that's what it is. And I didn't lose my temper with him. Why? Because I understood. I understood why he was behaving the way he was behaving. I understand an argument when I hear one, because they're always arguing within. But I ain't gonna let you argue with me. Heavens, no. So I kept my cool. I'm glad I did. I'm glad I kept my cool. Because I see myself, I deal with customers on a daily basis. And I know how I want to treat people because I know how they want to be treated. You know? And when someone says whatever they're going to say, I already know how I am going to behave. I already know that I'm going to be level-headed because that's what I've rehearsed, being level-headed. So when I tell you that these things work for every facet of your life, use it to shine light on any area, any facet of your life, any area. You got somebody that you don't like, you got somebody that don't like you. Well, how do you want that to turn out? Do you want to be best friends with them? Do you want to be cordial? Do you want to be respectful? What do you want? Or do you want them to leave you alone? Determine what it is. Determine the outcome. And when you determine the outcome, which is what you want to become, right? When you do that, know, K-N-O-W, know that you've made a choice. And that choice never needs force. It just needs rehearsal, repetition, so to speak. Over and over and over and over. Why? You're not you're not dilly-dallying, you're not pretending. No, every time you rehearse, you your neurons fire together, they wire together, creating a pathway for you so that every time you need to do something, I can bet you anything. If you ask Tom Cruise his favorite lines from any of his movies, well, what do you think would happen? Well, he'd slip into character. Why? Because he rehearsed so much. See? Any part of your life. Yeah, even the parts you think that are mundane. Rehearse how you'd behave. And then you celebrate the fact that you know why you're rehearsing because you know the outcome of rehearsal. So you see, you're never hoping that it works out. You are rehearsing so that you can act it out on the stage of life. So there's your pep talk today. That's it. Trust your what? What are you going to trust? Think about this. What are you going to trust? People tend to say, man, you can't trust people. People always let you down. Why do people let you down? Because people change. Their moods can be fickle. It's not that they let you down, it's just that they change. So they're not letting you down. You're anchored to something that changes. That's why you feel like you've been let down. But if you anchor yourself to the principles, they never change. Cause is always going to bring about an effect. An effect is always going to bring about a cause. And as within, so without, as above, so below will always be. So it's not that somebody's letting you down. It's that you have not seen your desired outcome. Nobody's letting you down. You're just anchored to something that changes. And the moods of man are fickle, are they not? Right? So don't anchor yourself. Don't talk about can't rely on people. How do you want your situation to turn out? Rely on that. Miss Dimples. Miss Fawn, my darling. It has been far too long, dearest, since I've seen you. And those dimples. Oh, it has been far too long. So, what you gonna do? You're gonna look at your situation that you're in. Listen, it could be dire, it could be not dire. You could think that it's insignificant. It can't be insignificant because it matters to you. Yes? So, what are the steps? One final time. Know what it is you want to become. So you're looking at your present situation. You know one thing. You want it to change. What do you want it to change to? Do not concern yourself with, man, I don't know how this situation gonna change. I don't know how this is gonna work out. That is not what we do. You don't try and figure out how because every cause has its effect. Your job is to acknowledge what you're going through at present and then what evidence? What evidence would you experience that would say to you, oh, shoot, my situation has changed? Because that's what you know. You know you want it to change. And sometimes that's all you know, that you want it to change. Okay, so what do you want it to change to? Better than what you got. So what evidence would tell you that it changed? What do you mean, what evidence, Angela? Well, how would you behave if it changed your situation? That's the evidence. Your behavior. That's what would change. Your attitude would change, would it not? How else would you know? For instance, if you went from 0 to million, how would you act? You don't know how you went from 0 to million, but you do know how you would act if you did. That's what you rehearse. And you rehearse that. If you went from single to booed up, how would you know that you were booed up? Because you know you got family, you know you got friends, You know, you got somebody in your family who would say, girl or fella, I'm so happy for you. This body is perfect for you. That's the evidence. The evidence that implies you are booed up, not how you're going to meet him. No. The evidence that confirms that you are booed up is what you're looking for. Are you telling your girlfriends, girl, he's so handsome? You should see his sideburns. Girl, you should see that bald head. The sun hits it. Ooh, and I got to put my shades on. Ooh, girl. He built like a linebacker. What is the evidence that would imply that you and your situation have changed? All you're going to do is plant the evidence. Plant the evidence that implies. Don't try and figure out how. Why am I stressing this to you? Because I know where we falter. That's why. Because I know where we falter. Right? So go out there today and practice planting the evidence. Where do you plant the evidence? You plant the evidence where? In your mind's eye. Why? Because it's your secret. It's your secret. Yes, it is. It's your secret. And when you plant that evidence, you get a level of excitement. You don't get the excitement from the planting of the evidence. You get the excitement from the knowing of what happens when you plant the evidence. That's what you do. That's the step 3, and you revel in it, and you say, oh, look at what I did. I did this. My son said to me the other day, because normally, if I make him breakfast, he'd say, oh, gee, Mom, thanks for the great breakfast. He goes, but I made this breakfast, so who do I thank? I said, you thank yourself? Didn't you make it? Didn't you just say you thank the person who made it? And he says to me, but Ma, it feels weird to thank myself. I said, does it? I said, if it feels weird to thank yourself, you say, compliments to the chef. Because then you know who the chef is. And you're like, oh, I am the chef. Hello. And there's your confidence. There's your confidence. And let me tell you something, Linda. Those eggs were fantastic, huh? Ooh, he has far outdone himself. Walking about the place talking about, Ma, I can cook. Are you proud of me? I said, child, you better be proud of yourself that you ain't gonna go hungry. You don't need me to be proud of you. You need to know that you got this in the bag and that you can do it. That's what you need to know. Not that my mother's proud of me. I'm always gonna be proud of you. That's just understood. That comes with the territory. But it is more important that you feel this about yourself. Because if I'm not here to tell you that I'm proud of you, you ain't gonna be proud of yourself. You're gonna feel less than. So it's not me, it's you. Anywho, little bits in here trying to tell me, girl, you know you got to get on the road early because your boss is not in the office today, so you got a lot of claims to process for him. I love you guys. I truly do. And I am excited because you got it. I am excited because you got it. Yes, I'm excited for that because the light has been turned on for you. And now you can go out into the world and be the best. Whatever that thing is you decide you want to be the best at. You know that you're not living a technique. You don't need a technique. Eric, don't sweat the technique. I couldn't help myself. You know. What do you know? You know that as long as I rehearse the evidence, plant the evidence, You know that as long as you do that, because you're already doing it, look inside your life and see where you're already doing it. And when you see where you're already doing it, you'll see why your life has played out the way it has all these years. Anywho, don't let me preach in here. uh, Miss Fawn says, "Ooh, I've been missing these great morning sessions on my little buddy, Mr. Rooster." Yeah, yeah, I know, I know. Don't think I don't have my own situations. See, sometimes you think that when I'm talking to you, I'm talking to you. No, no, I'm pulling a Chris Tucker. Do you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth? But this is what it is. Go forth and catch yourself with the present evidence that you've been planting in your life. Do it. Watch yourself and see. And now that you know, you'll walk down the street with an extra pep in your step. That knocking that you hear, that's him. This is how he's shuffling himself to move and to hop. I love you. Let's get the chime. And when you hear the chime this morning, where's the evidence? Plant the evidence. See, I told you, when I take too long, he gets a little louder, trying to get me to do what he wants me to do. Heifer. Ugh, I tell you this one. Fine, I am moving. You and your gangster lean. Come. Who's a Louis gangster boy? Right here for your mama. Oh, yes, I know. You want some water? You want some water before we play the chime? Water. Water. No? Okay, then. I'm going to put it back over here, and we're going to play the chime. Countdown initiated. 5, 4, 3, 2. All right, all right, all right. Well, I'm going to close all the rooms at the same time this morning because I got to get on up out of here. But know this. I do love you with all that I am. And then you practice. For some of you, you'll have to catch the replay. You can find the replay on YouTube or Twitter until one of us uploads it to Spotify, but there's no Spotify fairy at this house. But trust the process, and you know exactly what the process is. The process is every cause has its effect, and every effect its cause. So choose, and the process unfolds. Why? Because you are anchored to something that is unchanging. Oh, but Angela, everything changes. Not the principles. The principles are the catalysts of change. They themselves do not. Because you will always know that you are. And whatever you are within is what you are on the outside. Why? Because everything is moving. And it moves through stages from seed to fruit, always. And as it moves from seed to fruit, you will see the pattern that will tell you what fruit, which will cause you to behave in a particular way. So that you can go ahead to generate new ideas and become. And I do love you all, and so does Lil Bit. Yes, Lil Bit, he's waking up the girls, because they got to get up, because she broody, right? I can't have another chicken. But I just might have to give her a fertilized egg. How do you want this situation to turn out, Angela? Yes, I know exactly how I want it to turn out. Anywho, I love you all. And fan base, this is it. I'm gonna close this room too. Anywho, you know you can slide into my DMs if you have questions. And I'll see you again tomorrow right here on YouTube, Facebook, TikTok, Twitter, and Fanbase. Beloved love trolls, slide into my DMs. We've got to have this room together because I remember the topic you wanted to talk about. And we'll explain it. So, anywho, I love you. Peace out, everybody. Peace out.